Michael had been locked away for decades, quiet and still, but not empty. When Aaron and Dana arrived at the sanitarium to poke at him, they thought they were studying a violent mind. They had no idea he had already chosen them the second they spoke his names. They gave him attention. They gave him energy. They gave him their arrogance. When the bus crashed later that night, Michael remembered them. A small gas station sat on the edge of Haddonfield. Aaron walked in expecting interviews. Dana waited outside, thinking the bathroom was the safest place to hide from the storm of fear building inside her. Both ideas failed fast. Michael moved through the station like he was checking off a list. The mechanic died before he could even scream. The attendant behind the counter breathed once more than he needed. Every step Michael took left a new body behind. Dana backed into a stall, trembling, hoping silence might save her. Then Michael dropped a handful of bloody teeth over the top of the door. He did not speak. He never speaks. He just watched her freeze. The stall shook under his strength. Dana tried to block him, knowing her arms would not hold for long. Aaron entered the bathroom in a panic, only to meet the same wall of violence. Michael grabbed him with one hand and smashed his skull into metal like it was nothing. When Dana gasped one last time, Michael did not slow down. His mask needed a face. His suit needed a body. These two gave him both. John Strode lived inside the Myers house with a loud mouth and an attitude that rotted every room he walked into. He did not believe in curses, old legends, or even his own danger. He shrugged off every warning. He insulted his family. He acted like nothing could touch him. Michael corrected that idea fast. When the house went dark, John grumbled his way down to the basement. He thought the problem was wiring. He thought he could fix it. Michael waited behind the shadows. John saw blood on the washing machine and still did not understand he was already dead. He leaned forward, confused, irritated, ready to yell at someone who was no longer breathing. That is when Michael stepped out. There was no smart escape, no clever trick. Michael lifted him and drove him onto the fuse box with brutal force. The metal pierced deep, locking him in place. Electricity poured through his body until his head filled with bright red light and then burst. The basement turned into a silent slab. Michael just watched the sparks fade. Rob Zombie's version of Michael grew up inside pain. And one of the few people who treated young Michael with any form of warmth was Ismael Cruz, the janitor. He tried to guide him. He tried to speak to him like a person, not a monster. But when Michael reached full size, full rage, and full silence, nothing mattered anymore. Compassion meant nothing. Familiar faces meant nothing. Everyone was a target. When Michael killed the guards and walked into the hallway, Ismael tried to stop him with gentle words. He reminded Michael of their old talks. He begged him to look at him. For a second, Michael paused. His head tilted. His breathing slowed. Then he struck. Ismael went down fast, but Michael did not stop there. He grabbed him, dragged him like a broken doll, and smashed him against sinks, tiles, and cold concrete. Every hit sounded heavier than the last. Ismael tried to crawl. Michael brought him back and crushed him again. He finished the kill by breaking him with the weight of his boot. The floor cracked beneath the impact. Michael walked away without a single sign of conflict. This kill showed Zombie's version of Michael as a creature running on pure instinct. Nobody was safe, not even someone who once tried to protect him. Halloween 2 pushed everything into darker corners, and Nurse Karen found that out the hard way. The hospital felt empty, quiet, and strange. Long hallways echoed with nothing. Most staff had already vanished into Michael's path. Karen walked into danger without knowing it. Before Michael reached her, he dealt with Bud, her partner in the therapy pool. One grip, one choke, one drop of heatless rage, and Bud's body fell silent. Michael then turned to Karen, stepping into the steam with slow, calm movements. She saw the mask near the surface of the water and felt dread crawl up her spine. Michael lifted her by the head and pressed her down into the boiling pool. The water blistered her skin in seconds. Her screams echoed, sharp and warped. She fought upward, desperate, reaching for anything that felt real. He pushed her deeper. Her arms flailed, then weakened, then stopped. Bubbles rose around her hair as her face burned under the heat. Michael held her there long after she stopped moving. He pulled her out only when every part of her body hung lifeless. Michael chose a method that hurt from start to finish. And he never blinked while she died right in his hands. A barn at night can hide many things. Shadows, dust, old tools, and Michael, waiting like a statue carved out of cold intent. Spitz and Sam stepped into that barn with carefree energy, unaware of the silent figure watching from behind loose hay. Their laughter echoed through the wooden beams. Michael let it continue until he decided it was time for silence. He struck Spitz first, rushing out with a pitchfork raised high. The metal points punched through his back and into the ground. Spitz twitched once, then collapsed without breath left in him. Sam backed away in shock, but Michael had already changed weapons. A huge scythe hung on the wall, long and sharp, shaped like death itself. Michael took it with one smooth pull. Sam grabbed the pitchfork Spitz had dropped, trying to defend herself. Her hands shook, her voice cracked. She took one swing that barely scratched Michael's shoulder. He did not step back. He simply raised the scythe. The blade cut through her cleanly. No second strike, no wasted motion. Just one long arc that ended her fear in a heartbeat. He left the barn quiet, moving back into the night like nothing had happened. Michael does not care who stands in front of him. He does not care about fear, guilt, or blood. Every kill is handled with the same cold patience. Every victim falls the same way. Fast, quiet, and without warning. These next kills show exactly how far he goes when nothing blocks his path. Stay with us and make sure to like and subscribe. Inside the sheriff's house, tension pressed against the walls like thick smoke. Kelly felt safe near the deputy at the front door. She believed the house was guarded well enough to hold off any danger. She believed she had backup. Michael made sure she believed wrong. He got inside with silent steps, the kind that do not warn anyone until the last moment. The deputy was dead long before Kelly lit the small candle that revealed the truth. She saw the body slumped in the chair. She saw Michael's shape sliding out from behind him. She froze. Michael lifted the shotgun. Most killers would fire, not him. He gripped the barrel and drove it straight into her, hard enough to lift her off her feet and pin her to the wall like a lifeless decoration. Kelly gasped for air that no longer filled her lungs. Her hands clawed at the weapon. Her body shook as the last bit of strength broke apart. Michael stepped back, watching her head droop, then walked out without another glance. A shotgun in his hands becomes a blade. A victim becomes a quiet figure left behind for someone else to find. Annie Brackett walked through the night with confidence. She knew Haddonfield. She knew the streets. She knew the air. She had no idea a silent figure watched her every move. Michael waited inside her car. The windows fogged from the cold. The back seat looked still, harmless. Annie opened the door thinking of nothing more than picking up her friend. When she sat down, Michael rose from the shadows behind her. His hand wrapped around her throat with crushing force. Annie's breath cracked. Her legs kicked the floor. Her nails scraped against the dashboard. She tried to break free, but Michael squeezed harder, slowly cutting off every sound she tried to make. She fought hard, her body twisted, her face pushed against the inside of the horn. But the car stayed quiet, except for her thin breaths and Michael's steady grip. Her eyes widened as the lack of air closed in on her. Michael held her until her arms dropped, until her body sagged, until everything inside her went still. Then he pushed a blade into her throat to finish the job with cold precision. The fogged windows, the cramped space, the way she never saw him coming. This kill defined the original film's fear. Michael could attack from anywhere, even a familiar car in a familiar driveway. Sarah moved through the school dorm with a mix of nerves and hope, unaware that her night would end in silence. She tried to find her boyfriend, only to realize she was walking into a trap that Michael had already prepared. The hallway felt too empty. The air felt too still. Every door looked like it hid something. When she reached the dumbwaiter, she found Charlie dead with his throat cut open. She recoiled, shaking, but she tried to escape instead of falling apart. Michael stepped into the hallway as she attempted to climb inside the small lift. His presence filled the room in an instant. No footsteps, no growl, just a shape appearing where safety should have been. Sarah pulled herself upward, squeezing into the dumbwaiter as Michael closed in. She tried to lift the hatch, her hands trembling, her breath breaking into sharp gasps. The dumbwaiter cables rattled. Her leg hung out for a second, only a second, but that was long enough. Michael swung his knife and sliced deep into her ankle. The blade cut tendons cleanly, slicing through everything that held her weight. Sarah screamed as she fell inside, crashing down on the other side. Her body hit the floor hard. She tried to crawl. She tried to drag herself through blood and broken movement. Michael walked in calmly, stepped over debris, and stabbed down with a slow, almost surgical rhythm. Each strike pushed her closer to the floor. Each thrust stole another bit of her strength. When the final breath left her, Michael simply left the room without changing pace. Rob Zombie's second film showed Michael at his most savage. He did not rush. He did not try to hide. He attacked like a force that crushed anything in its path. The nurse he met in the hospital learned that weight firsthand. The halls were quiet. Alarms flickered red. The nurse walked into the wrong room at the wrong time, expecting an injured patient. What she found instead was Michael standing over a body. She gasped. Michael turned his head in the slow, dead motion that told her she had no chance. She tried to back up, but he reached her in seconds. He drove the knife into her with machine-like fury, again and again and again. Each strike hit deeper, harder, and with zero hesitation. Blood hit the walls. Her voice cracked as she tried to scream through the shock. Michael did not pause for a single heartbeat. The brutality in this kill felt different from his classic style. It was not quiet. It was not slow. It was raw force, unleashed without restraint. By the time he stopped, the room looked ruined. The nurse lay in a growing pool, barely recognizable. Michael dropped the blade and stepped over her like she was another piece of debris in his path. This is where everything began. Not with a chase, not with a mask, not with a silent stalk through suburban shadows. It began with a small boy walking through his own home with a blank face and a kitchen knife almost too big for his hand. Judith never saw the danger. She thought her little brother was harmless. She thought nothing in her own room could turn against her. Michael walked up the stairs slowly, his tiny boots tapping wood. He wore a pale clown costume, the kind made for parties and bright rooms. The mask covered his expression completely. When he entered Judith's room, The lights glowed warm. She brushed her hair and hummed softly. Then she turned, confused by the small figure standing in the doorway. Michael raised the knife. He stabbed her again and again, with unnatural focus for a child. Judith screamed, backing away, hitting the dresser, reaching out for help that never came. The blade kept rising and falling without rhythm, without hesitation, without emotion. When she collapsed onto the floor, Michael stepped back and stared. There was no guilt, no fear, no sense of what he had done, just stillness. He walked downstairs and stood outside as his parents returned, holding the knife with hands that did not shake. And that brings us to the end of Michael Myers' most iconic kills. The scenes that defined his presence and shaped the identity of the entire Halloween franchise. If you want deeper explorations into slasher psychology, franchise timelines, or the evolution of horror villains, just let me know. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more to uncover in the darker corners of horror.